With the Christmas fixtures set to go ahead, what players should you look at bringing into your team for the upcoming game week? So where do we start? We start off with the West Ham midfielder, Jarrod Bowen. So Jarrod Bowen comes in at a relatively cheap price of 6.5 million. And with that, you get a midfielder who literally plays 90 minutes most week. He plays in a top West Ham team, and he's been in brilliant form this season. He's managed to get himself 7 assists and 3 goals so far this season, which is a pretty reasonable return. Yes, he's only got 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 5 matches, which isn't great, but West Ham have got a brilliant set of fixtures. Have a listen to this. In the next 5 matches, they play Southampton, Watford, Leeds, Crystal Palace, and then Man United. So Man United is quite a tricky one. So is Crystal Palace, sort of. But Leeds, Watford, well, Leeds are all over the place. Watford are one of the lower teams in the league, and Southampton are as well. So 3 fixtures there that are green. 1 grey one with Crystal Palace, 1 red one with Man United. So not too bad there for West Ham. Also, like I've said, he literally plays 90 minutes week in, week out. He seems to be favoured over the likes of maybe Said Benrahma or Fornals. Like, I've seen matches where they've dropped Benrahma to the bench or not even in the squad and kept Jarrod Bowen in the team. So yeah, he's a brilliant player. He's been in brilliant form this season. 7 assists. Well, he's only got 4 if you check on the assist on the Premier League. But when I mean 7 assists, I mean in FPL. Been absolutely brilliant. 3 goals to his name as well. And hopefully he can continue that form if you bring him into your team. Also, he only is owned by 5.9%. So he's a super duper differential. So if he bags a couple of goals or assists against Southampton, Watford, Palace, etc. in his next few matches, it will look very great there for your mini league rank and also your global rank as well, potentially. The next player on the list is a Liverpool player, and he only comes in at 3.7 million. And that man is called Kostas Tsmikas. So Robertson got a red card in the Tottenham match, which means he will miss 3 Premier League matches. So who's going to play at left back? To Tsmikas. He's the backup left back. He's going to deputise Andy Robertson in the next 3 matches. And yeah, he looks like an absolutely brilliant buy. Not to mention, Tsmikas sometimes takes corners, sometimes takes free kicks. He can whip a beautiful ball into the box. He only comes in at 3.7 million, as I said, so he's cheap as chips. Like, he's one of the cheapest players in the game, and he plays for a club like Liverpool. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, he's owned by 11.1%, which is quite a lot, but it's not a lot considering you're going to have a starting defender in a side like Liverpool at 3.7 million. I just think it's like a brilliant buy. Also, Liverpool's fixtures aren't too tricky. They're not the easiest, but they aren't too tricky. They play Leeds, Leicester, Chelsea, Brentford, Palace in their next 5. And if Tsimikas plays maybe 3 of those, where if he plays Leeds, Leicester and Chelsea, they're not awful fixtures, but they're not amazing. But like I've said, at his price point, with his ability, in the team he's playing in, you can't really go wrong. And let's say Milner gets a run out of one of those matches. Because he's so cheap, you probably have some backup on the bench to bring into your team. But yeah, he looks like a brilliant buy, and I would bring him in right now. And also, I have already got him in my team, so I'm sorted for that. I've been waiting for him to play because he hasn't really played much recently. Also, this season, when he has played, Liverpool have kept 3 clean sheets. He's got himself an assist. He's got himself some bonus points as well. He's an absolutely brilliant asset, and I think you should bring him into your team right away. But when I mean right away, I don't mean like today. Do that on deadline day because he may get COVID or something, or the match may get postponed. I don't think it will, because the Premier League did come out and say that they can continue with the festive period and continue with the fixtures, but hold your horses because he may pick up COVID or something in the next several days. But comes Sunday, Boxing Day, you want to bring him into your team? Go ahead. Yes, he may get a price rise here and there, but he's only going to probably go up to 3.8 million, which isn't exactly a massive increase and shouldn't really put you out of not getting him in your team. But yeah, enough of the waffling. He is a brilliant asset. The final player of the video is the Newcastle United striker, Callum Wilson. So why should you look at bringing Callum Wilson into your team? Yes, Newcastle don't score a lot of goals, but this season, Callum Wilson has got 6 goals in 13 matches, which is absolutely brilliant considering he is playing in a team like Newcastle who literally score no goals. He literally plays 90 minutes week in, week out. He only comes in at 7.4 million, and there are a lot of strikers around that price bracket that aren't really performing. Look at Antonio, hasn't scored in ages. Look at Raul Jimenez, he hasn't scored in ages. Who are you looking to bring in around that price point? I would go with this man. He only is, well, there is Watkins as well, but we won't talk about him. But yeah, also he's only in by 4.1% of the game, so he's super duper differential. And if he picks up points in his next several matches, it could look pretty decent for your mini league rank. Also, his fixtures are pretty decent. Newcastle obviously are the worst teams in the league. Well, not the worst, but they're one of the worst teams in the league. But they don't play great. But these next set of fixtures are fixtures where they got to pick up points in. They play Man United next, which could put you off Callum Wilson, but you never know with Man United, you don't know what to expect. But after that, they play Everton, who are not a great side at all, Southampton, who are one of the lower teams in the league, Watford, who are their relegation rivals, Leeds, who are all over the place, then Everton again. Like, come on, that is some blimmin' easy fixtures there for Newcastle. And if they don't pick up points in those matches, they don't really deserve to stay in the league. But to be fair, in those matches, they go on to the 8th of February, what I stated. So there could be injuries and there could be signings as well. Newcastle may sign some top talents, but I don't expect them to sign a striker. Eddie Howe loves Callum Wilson. He's worked with him at Bournemouth, and he looks like a brilliant buy for your team for the next several game weeks. And yes, this one's a sticky one because they play Man United, but don't write off Newcastle. Man United have looked a lot better under Ralph Rangnick, but are they really that cutting-edge team that you expected them to be at the start of the season? Probably not. So you could bring him in this week. I'm keeping him on my bench this week because I've got Ollie Watkins, who I could have easily put in the watch list video, but everybody knows about Ollie Watkins. Everybody wants to bring him in, and also I thought I may as well talk about Callum Wilson because he's less talked about. So yeah, the 3 players that I think you could bring in is obviously Jarrod Bowen, Kostas Tsimikas, Callum Wilson. If I had to put them in order from best to worst, I'd go to Tsimikas top, just because he's pretty much guaranteed to play now Robertson's out with his red card. He's cheap as chips, literally cheap as chips. He's a brilliant player, and he's got some decent fixtures coming up. Then I would go Jarrod Bowen, because he hasn't been in the best of form recently, but he's still got 7 assists to his name this season, 3 goals as well. You know he's going to play regular in that West Ham team, and they've got a brilliant set of fixtures. And then last of all, I put Callum Wilson. Not that he is a bad player by any means for a pick for your team, but he is the worst out of the bunch. But yeah, if you've got any questions, guys, put them in the comment section. Also, if you have enjoyed this video, do hit the like button and the subscribe button. It will be greatly appreciated around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.